why should young people today, aside from the scholarship and the Torah value of the response, why should young people study the writings and life of Rabbi Weinberg? Why is that important, if you think it is important?
We take some of the more homiletic works. Some are just good. They don't age. I'll mention one comment that lodged in me. The Gemara says that if the law is that a slave whose master knocks out a tooth or an eye, that slave goes free. Kal v'chomer, even how much more so that suffering is a good thing, that suffering elevates you. So Rabbi Weinberg asked, why does the Gemara say this? After all, in the Gemara in Gittin, we are told that not every slave wants to be free. Now, at a pshat level, I can argue with Weinberg. I can say that the view that he's quoting is one channel among a variety of opinions. But he asked the question, after all, there's slaves who don't want to be free. And the psychology of it is understandable. Not every slave wants to be free. And his answer was, it's true, not every slave wants to be free. But if a man is a slave and his master knocks out a tooth, if he suffers physically from slavery, even the most abject slave at that point wants freedom. It's an interesting comment, and it's just as true today as it might have been in 1930. What he wrote about the history of Musar, I think, is important if you want to know different views about Musar, at least about Slobodka Musar, which is what he was primarily concerned about. It does matter to us today. If Musar is a live option, then we want to know what did people think about it at that time. People were educated and people were capable of distancing themselves a little bit, writing a slightly more objective term. In terms of psak, if you're interested in halachic rulings, this was somebody who was part of that world. If you're a student of halacha, and I wrote on abortion way back. I remember finishing a rough draft of the article during the time that Jimmy Carter was giving his acceptance speech for the first nomination. I remember writing that long piece, and Weinberg was one of the major people in that discussion. You tell me you want what Poskim said yesterday, he's not there anymore, but in the halachic world, we do want to study important figures who passed. In Talmud, I'll tell you, when I look at Bava Kama, it comes up in the Yeshiva curriculum, I do take Srei Eish off the shelf and I look at it and I reread that passage. Whether or not, I don't know how many Yeshivish people are run to it right away, even know about it right now. And even in terms of strictly halachic writings, there are things that he says that are as inspiring today as they were then. I mean, one example in passing. There's a view of Rashba that we don't make a bracha on mitzvot between man and man. Because, as Rashba, to say Asher Kitsham Mitzvotav, God commanded us, and that's why we're doing it. But regarding other human beings, there's another reason we're doing it. Rabbi Yechiel Weinberg asked the question about Shalachmanis. Why don't we make a bracha on Shalachmanis? And various answers have been given to that question, but he says we don't do that because Shalachmanis is an act of friendship. And if you're saying, well, I'm doing this because God commanded me to do it, then you're diminishing that element of friendship. Again, it's a two-page discussion, but it's something that's worth reading. But those are justifications for Talmud Torah in general. Clearly, within Talmud Torah, in the real world, there are people who are in and people who are not so in, and people who remain relevant and people who are less relevant. And that leads to the last point, that in part, the combination that he made of academic scholarship and Lomdus still is not that common today. Many people try to do it with various degrees of success. And regarding matters of that sort, it's not the information that you want, it's really the how and not just the what. Let me quote somebody who studied in Slobodka, went in a somewhat different direction, Rav Hutner. There's a line in Rav Hutner. Rav Hutner asked, why is it that the Gemara says that the Baal Halacha is called the Mash'en Lechem, the staff of bread, and the Baal Agada, the theologian, is the Mash'en Mayim, the source of water. When you're playing around with the pasuk and you're taking word here, word there, and you're trying to make a sermon out of it, what does it really mean? And Putner's answer was that halacha and agada are very different in the way we study them. In halacha, you're talking about truth. Either this is true or it's not true. And once you know what's right or what's wrong, is this permissible, is it not permissible, you have your information. So there, it's like bread. When it comes to eating, the halachic measurement of eating is objective. You eat a kazait, the size of an olive. If you want to be out, say, you want to perform a certain mitzvah. On Yom Kippur, it's a slightly larger measure. But everybody has the same measurement. It doesn't matter whether you are a one-year-old baby or Og Melech HaBashan, giant. When it comes to water, the measurements are different. On Yom Kippur, we talk Lugma, you fill your cheek, and there we know that the cheek of a one-day-old baby is generally a lot smaller than that of Og Melech HaBashan. What the Putner derives from that is that in the study of halacha, one size fits all. In thought, in you might call personal style or who you are, everybody has a different measure. And that's why it's important to learn from many people. Now, you could say that the same thing is true in halacha. That a lot of what we do in halacha is not simply reading the Shulchan Aruch and finding out what's permissible, what's not permissible. It also builds a personality. And there's a difference. When you learn from different teachers, you end up being a different person because you have that mixture of influences. But people may be attracted to Yechiel Weinberg because he was an unusual personality. You want to make a short list of people. I mean, I wrote about him because I thought that his combination of Lumdus and philology was important. Even I knew other people who do it, but not anybody else with the same degree of piety, not anybody else with the same degree of mixture, with the same kind of dialectic going on. I wanted to be exposed to that. I wanted to live with that for the amount of time that it took me to do the translation and the amount of time that it takes me to do the reading. You want to live with that. And I think there are a lot of people who are who want to be attracted to that, who want to experience that.
We could probably go on, and this has been fascinating. We urge all our listeners and viewers to look up Professor Carmy, Rabbi Carmy's works on not just Yechiel Yaakov Weinberg, but his many other works. And again, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Enjoyed it very much.
Thank you.
I hope that the audience would too.